Here, piggy. Holy hell, I actually got it. This here is Viking Conquest, the official expansion to Mount & Blade Warband. Set in Europe in the height of the Viking era. You basically play as a Viking or someone repelling Vikings, if you so please, and you go around living your character's life. It's like its predecessor. It's extremely open ended, and the game really can be what you make of it. Um, it's actually a lot of fun. It's got pretty much everything you can imagine in a game in this setting. All the famous places like London, Dublin, the television famous Bevanburgh, and literally a boatload of other places that are too many for this video. Ooh. There are two main elements to this game. The first and most similar to many gamers would be when you walk through towns or in battles. That's when you have a third-person perspective of your character. You run around, you fight people, you talk to people, you do everything you see in a game normally, right? One thing I think is pretty nifty about it is you can actually go and talk to the stores here, or you can simply go to the town and you can just trade with the locals and you can do it through the menu. I like the fact that in every town, all of these options actually have a physical presence. So if you decide that you want to play it your way of going and talk to everyone, you can do that. The other way of playing it is this: you are moving over large distances. This is when you're not in a town and not in a battle. It's almost like the strategic scene in Total War. Works very similar, honestly. So day and night cycles, depending on some settings you have in the beginning of the game, with some game choices, depend on if your warband needs rest, needs extra food, etc. And all in all, it's a pretty nifty way of being able to get around fast. It can seem a little bit strange when you first start, but once you do start messing around with it, you find that it's actually incredibly intuitive. The combat in this game is fun. There's no other word for it. There's your different types of classes that you get with your troops you can bring with it. These ones in front of me here are primarily skirmishers, and there's a couple of archers in the front there. Over here, you have a line of spearmen. There's many more classes and subclasses in this game than that. They can all work together. They're all good at different things. When you actually get the hang of how to actually move people around with the advanced infantry controls in here, you can win extremely pitched battles if you're good at it. In general, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Combat is organized by a number of ways. So you swing, how you're moving, how long you hold it, the direction, etc. All of it changes your attack essentially. Heavy infantry, as you can see right now, my characters definitely would be in that category, seeing as I'm able to stave off all of those attacks, are able to withstand a lot. So most of these people are simply using very basic weapons, so a lot of it can't even puncture through this character's armor. My warband over there, however, is not wearing the same level of gear as myself, so they are getting quite messed up. Oh, reinforcements. Will it be enough? Horse riding in this is not as big of a thing as it was in Mount & Blade, Warband itself. In this expansion, I personally feel that there's a lot more emphasis on ground combat for your character. You can definitely still have your character running around on a horse. There's truly nothing against it, but just the style and the theme really with this game sort of just lends itself towards the ground. My personal favorite addition to this game compared to its predecessors is the introduction of boats. Wouldn't be a Viking game without them, that's for damn sure. Much like walking around on the ground, you have the strategic scene here. You move around, cruise around the oceans, go around up rivers, you get the gist. And of course, you can fight on them. The controls of the boats are pretty fun, honestly. Um, Not exactly difficult. They're relatively basic, but enjoyable nonetheless. Raise and lower the sail, use the oars, run around, you get it, bored. Yeah. If you're fighting in this game, it's quite likely that you can start accruing prisoners very, very fast. Now, what this means primarily is you have to choose what to do with them. You can't just have an infinite stack getting dragged along behind you. Although you can get a fair few if your prisoner management skill is high enough. The most common thing to do with them is to sell them to any of the slavers that are all over the map, or to sell them to places like the salt mine or the quarries. Um, you know, you could always just release them as well. That's the thing about this game, personal freedom. There's a lot of choice. There's two main game modes to this, either the campaign or open-ended sandbox. With either, really, it's still open-ended. Even with the scripted campaign, how you actually go about getting to each of the next steps is entirely up to you. With the sandbox, you can either start off as the fellow who basically rolled out of bed one day, or you can actually start off as a lord or actually as a king if you want to skip the early game grind. Um, Honestly, though, even the grind is a lot of fun. Nothing like making a character who was hunting boar in the King's Forest all of a sudden own, 20 ships and 100 granaries. No, that's an exaggeration. But you know what I mean. All in all, this game offers almost countless hours of replayability. With the level of customization in skills and character development that can be done in it, no two game is going to be the same, really. Even the randomness of movements from one character, like from the AI characters, just adds elements of almost unknown to what's going to happen next. Keeps it interesting, keeps it fresh, and there's enough content in this game that even at around 200 hours, I'm still finding things that I haven't even seen. That's it from me. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. And, share your loot.